Standard 8th English Medium. Welcome back after 2 weeks holidays, and I hope you enjoyed your holidays. Now in biology we were busy with chapter number 1, which is the chapter of agriculture, crop production and management, in which we have already learned some of the topics, in which was like types of the crops, rabi crops, kharif crops, and also we learn about what is the basic practices of crop production, and there were 7 steps involved in this agricultural practices. The list was preparation of soil, sowing the seeds, adding manure and fertilizers, irrigation, protection from weeds, harvesting and storage. From these steps, we already discussed the 3 initial stages, that were the preparation of soil, in which we learn about the tilling and ploughing, in which we turn the soil so that it can get porous and so on, in which we use the ploughs and hoe and some different tools also. And then we learn about the cultivator also. Second steps was the sowing of the seeds, in which also we learn how to choose the proper type of seeds. How can you find out that which seeds are better? And then the tools, like the traditional tool and the modern tool was the seed drill, and how to use that. And the next step was the manure and fertilizers. We know that manure is prepared in the farm by the farmers using the animal and plant waste products, and it is like composting and vermicomposting, etc. And that is known as manure. But the fertilizers are the chemicals. They are made from the chemicals in the factories, which have the nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, etc. minerals. Also we learn about the crop rotation and some other things, like advantage of manure. When you use fertilizer, what precautions you have to keep in the mind, etc., etc. Now the 4th step in this agricultural practices is the irrigation. We know that water is very, very important for all the living organisms. Water is essential for the proper growth and proper development of all the organisms. Doesn't matter either it is an animal or plant. Everybody needs water, because water is the main part of our cell. In the cell, we know that 85 to 90% is water, and all the activities in the body of plants and animals takes place in the presence of water. So water is very, very important. Now if we talk about the plants, we know that the plants absorb the water from the soil through their roots. The roots are going inside the soil, and wherever there is water, they can absorb the water. Not only the water, but they also absorb some minerals which are also available from the soil. The minerals are getting dissolved in the water, and then when the roots absorb the water, the minerals are also getting absorbed from the soil by the roots. Now, we know that the 90% part in the plants is containing water. So, it means that water is very, very essential. First of all, when we sow the seeds, and if there is no water, seeds cannot germinate. And if seeds cannot germinate, then how the new plants will be coming out from that seeds. So for the germination of the germination of the seeds also, water is very, very important. Germination can't take place in the dry conditions of the soil. Similarly, nutrients also getting dissolved in the water and then transported in the dissolved part. So if there is no water, how can they reach to the other parts of the body? So we know that the plant need water regularly. Now also the water protect the plants when there is very, very hot weather. So to maintain the moisture of the soil for healthy crop growth, also fields have to be watered regularly. Generally we know that mainly the rain is the main thing that gives water to the soil. But we know that the monsoon is sometimes irregular, and so therefore we cannot only depend on the rainwater for the crops. So we must get ready. If the rain is late or not coming, then if we don't have another alternate for the water, then the crop cannot grow properly. So the irrigation is very, very important for it. So what is irrigation? The supply of water to crops at regular intervals is called irrigation. So what is irrigation? The supply of water to the crops, and it must be at regular intervals. It means what? Every 2 days, every 5 days, every week. But we cannot say that it is for the common. But it varies. The irrigation, proportion of irrigation and time interval. Like look, the time interval and the frequency of irrigation varies from crop to crop, from soil to soil, and from season to season. It means that different types of crops need different amount of water, means irrigation. Some crops need much water. Some need medium. Some need very less water. So it varies from crop to crop, from soil to soil. Means if the soil is very dry or sandy soil, then they need more water. If it is different type of soil, it needs medium water. Some get more water. So the amount of water depends on the soil to soil also, and season to season. Means in the summer season, the weather is very, very dry. So most of the water is getting evaporated, and therefore the soil will become dry. And in the dry condition, we have to irrigate more. Means in the summer season, the proportion of irrigation will be higher than the other season. In rainy season, maybe it is less because due to the rainwater, the crops are getting irrigated naturally. And in winter season, maybe it is adequate, means not much more or much less, medium requirement. So the time and frequency of the irrigation, time also, it means that some of the crops are such that you have to give the water regularly, means every day. Some of the crops are like that we don't have to give water every day, maybe once in a week or 2 or 3 times in a week, and so on. So it depends what types of crops are there. So time can be also vary, and the proportion of the water also can vary from crop to crop, soil to soil, and season to season also. And thus we can water according to the requirement of the crop. So now sources of irrigation, it means that from where can we get water to watering the plants. So no, those parts from where we get water are known as sources of irrigation. So which are the sources of irrigation? The sources of irrigations are wells, tube wells, ponds, lakes, rivers, dams and canals. Can't we put a sea here? No. Why can't we put the sea here or the oceans? Because they contain salty water, and we cannot use the salty water for the irrigation. The plants cannot grow in the salty water. So only the other water can be used. So those are the sources from which we get wells, tube wells, means bores that we are doing that, ponds, lakes, rivers, dams and canals. These are the sources of irrigation. It means that from these sources we can get either by the pipeline or by putting the motor or some other pumps like that, and from that we can draw the water for irrigation of to the plants. So now that are the sources of irrigation. Now how do we irrigate the plants? Means how do we give water to the plants? For that there are different types of methods used. There are mainly two types of methods. One type of methods are the traditional methods. Traditional means using from the long time, and they generally now some of them are only maybe working, but now the other methods are the modern systems also, modern methods of irrigation. First of all, we will learn about the traditional methods. I will show you some pictures also for that. That are the traditional methods. Traditional methods are moat or pulley system, in which on the well there is the pulley, જેને આપણે ગુજરાતીમાં ગરગડી કહીએ છીએ, right? That pulley system also can be used for that irrigation, and then from that well, due to with the help of pulley we draw the water, and then maybe we make a line to reach that water to the field, and then water is going through that part to the, you can see here the picture of that pulley system, which is known as moat also, right? That is the first method, moat or pulley system. You see that there is a pulley on the well here, and then with the help of the rope is pulled around that pulley, and then with the help of that we take out the water and throw it so that the passage is made to go through the farm, and then in the farm the water will reach. Second system is the chain pump. Chain pump is also here you can see that this one, second one, that is the chain pump, in which there is a chain which is connected to the pump. When the pump is on, the chain is moving itself in the place of pulley. The chain will move, and then the water is thrown, and then water can go through the farm. The third method is the Dhakli. The third method is the Dhakli. Dhakli is shown here. Then I will tell you what they do with this method. In a Dhakli, what do? They take a long like a bamboo or big wood, piece of wood, big long, and then at one end they will tie with the rope a bucket, then આપણે ડોલ કહીએ bucket, and then other place they put some weight, and then in middle they put that some support, and then when that they take out that weight, the water will the bucket will go in the well, it will take water, then they will put that again, so water can come out, and then they can irrigate the plants. And the last one is rahat, or they pronounce as rent also. In Gujarat it is called rent or rahat, in which there is a circular thing, and circular thing is driven by the bullocks or any type of animals. When the bullocks is moving like that, and then that connected wheel along with some water vessels are there, and then look here, you can see that bullock is moving, and due to that the water is coming out, and then it will thrown in the passage and it will go. So these are the four traditional methods. First was moat, second is chain pump, third one is Dhakali, and fourth one is the rant. Now there is very old methods which take times also, which waste the water also, and therefore they are not generally using nowadays. But if they don't have that modern system, they can still use that system. Now in modern system, they are using those systems so that the water is not getting wasted, because we know that water is scarce sometimes, and therefore these two modern methods are very useful for this thing, so that we can save water also. And those are the sprinkler system and drip system. If we talk about the sprinkler system, in which it is very useful in uneven land where sufficient water is not available. So if sufficient water is not available, we can use this sprinkler method, in which the perpendicular pipes are there, and pipes having nozzle on the top of that, and they are joined to the main pipe, and those nozzles are rotating, and they can throw the water like the rain is coming. So all the perpendicular pipes are there, and they are joined with the main pipe at the bottom. And then what happens, when water is allowed to flow through the main pipe under pressure, with the help of a pump, it escapes from the rotating nozzles. It gets sprinkled on the crop as if it is raining. So what happened, that main pipe is connected with the pump, and with the pump the water is forced to pass through that main pipe, and so it will pass through that perpendicular pipes also, and with force it coming to the nozzle, so that nozzle is start rotating and sprinkling the water around just like if it is raining, and then it can go to the lawns, coffee plantation, and several other crops. You can see the picture of this. You can see that there are some perpendicular pipes, and they are connected with the downward pipes, and then it is connected to the pump, and pump will draw the water from the well, and it will passing through the main pipes with the force, and then also from that perpendicular pipes, so that that nozzle on the top will get rotate very speedily, and all around it will sprinkle the water as the water is raining like that. And in the second system, the drip system, in drip system what happens, the water falls drop by drop. It means that the water is not getting wasted. Drop directly near the roots. Drop are only falling at the roots only, because roots is getting absorbed water only, right? So it is called a drip system. It is the best technique for watering fruit plants, gardens and trees. And in this system, water is not getting wasted. Because if we sprinkle the water, then in the middle part where there is no plants, also the water will fall, and that can grow that unwanted plants also. And therefore, here it is very, very useful. So in which the pipes are inside the soil, and at the near the root there will be a hole and the nozzle. And when you open that nozzle, the water will fall there drop by drop, only by the roots, not at the other parts. And therefore, the water will not getting wasted also. So, in those areas in which the water is very scarce or in small amount, then we can use that water from the river. So now we learn about the irrigation, sources of irrigation and methods of irrigation. After this video, you will get PDF file in which whatever is there, you have to write down, maybe some homework to do also. And if there is any problem, any question, any queries, please write down in the comment section. Thank you very much.